Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video we will be discussing about one new scheme of government of India, which is eRupi. So in this scheme we will be discussing the basic difference between eRupi, the new scheme of government of India, and the old scheme of government of India, which is direct benefits transfer. Actually this new scheme is an upgradation of the old scheme, which means that the old scheme which will act as a roadmap for this new scheme's effective implementation. So how it will be the roadmap for the old scheme, we will discuss all that things in today's video. So without wasting time, let's get started. So before moving, let us understand what was the old scheme and how it was successfully implemented in India. So the old scheme was implemented in 2013 in India, and that scheme was hugely successful in such a way that it was covering around 300 plus government schemes direct benefit transfer to all the citizens of India. So in a layman term, we'll discuss what exactly was the scheme. So whenever government is giving whenever government is transferring some funds for some beneficiaries for a particular scheme, so that money has to be directly given to the citizens, right? So before this scheme there were so many mediatories like the government employees or everything for transfer of these funds to the beneficiaries. So once a middleman is involved in this thing, so there was huge corruption. But after implementation of this scheme after 2013, the person who was middleman in this benefit transfer was completely eliminated, and the money was directly transferred on the person's bank account, right? So that scheme were related to 300 plus schemes, and around 2 lakh crore amounts of money was directly transferred to around 40 crore plus beneficiaries, right? And because of this 57,000 crore rupees around was saved by government of India, right? So we can say, like, we can see from these things like how this scheme was successful and beneficial for all the citizens of India, right? But now there was one issue in this scheme, right? So like imagine like a beneficiary is given 100 rupees in his account, right? So like imagine that 100 rupees is given. So before discussing that thing, we'll discuss for what all things that like the benefits were given. So the benefits were given for LPG cylinders, then for fertilizer subsidies, right? And also for some medical schemes, right? So imagine a person is given 100 rupees as a benefit for LPG, right? And that money is used for some other purpose apart from the LPG subsidy, right? So in that way the scheme, which was like the benefits are not completely utilized for that particular purpose, right? So to not to have that issue in the future, government decided to do one further step in this scheme. So that is the thing which is implemented in this new theme. So in this new scheme, which is eRupi, so in this new scheme the direct benefit transfer will be given to all the citizens of India, but that will be linked only for a particular purpose, which means that if the funds are transferred for LPG scheme, so that can be used only for the LPG subsidy, right? If the fund is transferred for any health scheme, so that will be used only for the health schemes. If the fund is transferred for some fertilizer subsidies, just wait, some fertilizer subsidies, so right, so that will be used only for that purpose, right? So now we will understand what exactly is this new eRupi scheme and how it will be implemented, right? So in this scheme, just like our mobile phones, so we do in like prior to 2 to 3 years back, we used to do some recharge, right? So from that recharge we used to get some balance in our account, right? And then that balance was used only for the calling or like similar purpose, right? So the main motto of that recharge was that it was allowed to be used for only some particular purpose, right? So in the same way, we will be getting some balance in our account of in our DBT account, right? So that balance will be used only for the particular purpose of that scheme, whether it is LPG subsidy or health subsidy or something like that, right? So in this government scheme, the government will be providing some QR code or some SMS to us, right, on our same registered number, right? So we'll be on our registered number, a SMS will or a QR code will be sent once a direct benefit transfer for that particular scheme is done. So whenever we want to use that funds, then we need to like associate with the particular authority. Like if we want to get the LPG subsidy, then we need to show that SMS or the QR code to that respective peoples to get the benefit of that scheme, right? So we will discuss this scheme in more detail in the next slide. So yes, here it is. So this eRupi means a cashless or contactless instrument for digital payment, right? So in this scheme we will get a QR code or a SMS based e-voucher, right? So e-voucher which means like it will be just a like a message or something like thing which will be stored within us, right? So this e-voucher won't be have any like deadline or something like that. So we can use this e-voucher for a particular purpose only, right? We cannot use this e-vouchers for other purposes, right? Because like if we are getting the funds for like LPG subsidy, and then we if we are using this for the health things, it won't work, right? And the fact is like this eRupi scheme was partially already implemented in terms of health schemes, like we were when the COVID thing was there, this eRupi scheme was already implemented for all the health initiatives in pan India level, right? So in that sector it was successful, so that's why now it is implemented for all the other schemes as well, right? So it will be a one-time payment, right? So initially that one-time payment amount was 10,000 prior to this, and now it has been proposed to increase to 1 lakhs, but it is not completely done yet. Like by the time this video is being like recorded, in future days it is supposed to be increased to 1 lakh. So we'll have further discussions once this limit is increased. So the other things are like it is developed by one government government organization, that is NPCI, right? And other things are, and the last thing is like this scheme will be used for all the things, like for child welfare schemes, and then for TB eradication scheme, and then for drugs and diagnostics schemes, right? And the most important thing, Ayushman Bharat scheme, right? And the fertilizer subsidy and all things, right? So for all these schemes, government will be transferring the funds to direct benefit to all the citizens, and then they'll be able to use these funds for a particular scheme only, right? So this way government can be able to do the effective utilization of the scheme, right? But now if you are getting confused between like what is like how it is different from the direct benefit DBT scheme, then we will discuss that thing here, right? So like once within the direct like the beneficiary of the direct benefit transfer will get a SMS or a QR code, right? So like imagine that is given for a vaccination purpose, right? So that person has to show that QR code to a vaccination center, right? And after the scan, the beneficiary will get the same number where he'll be receive the original SMS or QR code that needs to be shared with the officials of health center, right? Right. So to redeem the amount, and the beneficiary can go for the vaccination, right? So in this way, like the process of this eRupi scheme will be implemented, right? So this is old like cutting, so that's why it is mentioned that it is only used for health schemes, now it is implemented for other schemes as well, right? So this is the brief information regarding the eRupi scheme, right? So yes, so yeah, that is it for now for this video. So see you in the next video. Till then, thank you.